Hello, hello, and welcome to the Lightning McQueen episode of the Great Canadian Hockey Podcast. It is so fun to be back with you guys. I am absolutely loving this NHL season because it's one where it proves yet again I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. So that's why I'm saying ka-chow and dubbing this a Lightning McQueen podcast because I know just as much about the trilogy of Cars movies as I do about the goings-on of the NHL. My fantasy team is, I gotta say, 12th, 13th. I have a bunch of washed up bums playing for my squad. So before we start talking hockey, I want to leave a little warning. Maybe don't listen to any of my fantasy advice on my brand new fantasy hockey segment. So, I'm gonna let my co-host take it away here because he's clearly a lot more knowledgeable than me. Aiden, Sarah, how are we doing, fellow? What's new? How's life?
James, you just came so close to like I bit my tongue. I did bite my tongue. Had I not bitten my tongue, I would be about 10% of a way through like a Cars universe lore dump on you had I like started that ball rolling when you started
Ooh.
talking about like knowledge of the Cars trilogy versus fantasy hockey knowledge.
Is this
Um
something you're well versed in?
yes and no, and
Yes.
I'm not even that big a fan of it. I had enough younger family, like where I've watched those movies kind of every so often for my whole life, where it was like,
Dude,
okay, these cousins.
weren't you like two when the first one came out?
Oh yeah, so I watched them as kids, and
I
then
watched the
like,
first one in theaters and it was straight gas.
oh yeah, the first one is the best one. Like, I actually think it's the good one, if I'll be so candid. Now we'll pivot away from that because let's
Hey,
not get into that whole
wait.
thing.
Before we fully pivot away from that, the Cars 3 movie poster with flipping Lightning McQueen through the air upside down when it looks like he's about to crash is perhaps the hardest poster for a movie that results in the actual film being absolute garbage and seemingly having like nothing to do with the worries I had when I saw that poster.
Again, we can't,
We can't. We can't.
we
This
can't,
okay. All right. All
we
right.
can't keep going.
I should say this is actually the 95th episode. So, welcome aboard, Aiden. What's new? How's life?
It's cold. It's getting cold in Calgary, man.
You
Yeah.
got a parka?
Pardon?
Are you a parka guy?
Dude, you know me, man. I'm
Yeah,
not like
you
a
wear
heavy
shorts,
clothes.
but that was BC.
Yeah. No, I'm not a heavy clothes guy. So it's like
Now you're
I'll
flexing,
go
dude.
like I'll go t-shirt, hoodie, regular jacket, but I don't have like a big kind of winter coat that you see Albertans championing.
I've got an oil rig jacket that's rated for -60 if you need it.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
can't
think the
imagine
jacket
when.
weighs 15 pounds.
God.
Okay, well, let's talk some hockey on this Cars 4 hype cast. Dude, these young guys have been taking over the league, but I listen to, is well documented, a lot of podcasts that former NHLers play on, and a lot of these retired guys say something recently that brings up a very valid point and a point that's been prevalent through my hockey watching life. Young guys always come in hot. They always come in red hot. And a lot of the veterans are a little bit slower to start. They've got injuries that they've got to shake the rust off. They actually have an off season where they like go and do things instead of just practicing for 75 straight days. Is are these young guys? I'm talking the Celebrinis. I'm talking the still more Celebrinis, and I'm still talking about Celebrini. Maybe a little bit of Schaefer. Give me some Will Smith. Give me whoever else that's just cooking out the gate. How many of these guys are going to cool off? Are we actually going to see that, or are these old dogs blowing smoke?
Oh, we'll have so many changes, dude. Like you look at the top end of the point scoring charts, 9, 10 games,
Makes
8
me puke.
games. It makes you puke. Nick Schmaltz is random, I'll tell you that. Good for
Talk about
Nick
that later.
Schmaltz and his 1.6 points per game. Yeah, Macklin Celebrini is making. perhaps the strongest case that I'm going to be an Olympian that anybody is making in the NHL, not named Jack Eichel right now. And we knew that with Eichel. That's not news. Um, he's yeah, I mean, and again, you kind of talked about it with Schaefer when we brought him up in the last episode about kind of the amount of fanfare Connor Bedard got in his draft year was just not going to happen again. Like it didn't have the staying power, right? Like you can't have this like huge hype around number one overall every year. So Celebrini, I think coming after Bedard has just been perennially slept on. And this start to the season, I think, is the Macklin Celebrini that he would have told you by my second year, this is the player I want to be. And that is a two-way buzzsaw who's got the puck on his stick so much, and when he doesn't, he's not far from it. He's taken 24 shots in 9 games, which is more than he was throwing at the net last year for sure too. It's a guy with more confidence, a guy with more leash. I've talked about how much I like the idea of what Ryan Warsofsky's trying to do in San Jose, and I think the confidence with which Smith and with which Celebrini are playing with. He's
You think
given
he
Michael
sold his
Misa.
kid?
Pardon me. No, I don't think so. No,
Warsofsky, you think he sold his kid? Because they
no.
won a game, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't think he did.
No,
I
okay.
also think
I
that
wasn't sure about that.
I also think the fact that he had to genuinely, and now I'm using the word had to maybe liberally, the fact that he felt obliged to come out and be like, "Hey, I actually wouldn't do that," is absurd. Like,
Child
what are we
services gave him a ring.
I don't know, man.
Ding ding, Mr. Warsofsky, have you sold your child? I saw that your team won a game.
That is so, like it was a whatever quote, but then to actually see that he needed to be like, guys, I wouldn't do that.
Can you imagine if the PR team was like, "Hey, Ryan, we need you to go to the media and say you're not gonna sell your kid. We've had enough of this. Stop joking around." That's a real conversation that could have happened.
Michael Misa got a goal.
Indeed, he did.
Yeah, good for me to see.
If they roll out the lines the way they are in San Jose with Celebrini eating all of the hard matchups, um, is it too out of the realm of possibility that Misa ends up with like 45 even strength points?
No, no. It, it, I don't know what San Jose is going to do with the second line because they still have the Alexander Venberg and Adam Gaudette, Tyler Toffoli contingent of players. I
Yeah,
think
what the
it's
hell is going on with the underutilization of Tyler Toffoli? As a fantasy manager, I am pissed.
yeah, yeah. No, I
Angry.
understand.
Oh, hey, oh, our best goal scorer outside of Celebrini, probably most experienced though, too, is he's on the second power play.
I think Eklund with Celebrini and Toffoli is kind of a dream line for all three of them to play on.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
Um, San Jose, we've talked about them too much, but Macklin Celebrini's been one of the best players in the NHL. If it ended today, he'd be high on the Hart ballot. But we've only played 9 games, so James, we have an interesting kind of schedule, and I don't think I like it. But regardless of my opinion on it, we have 2 games today, and we're recording this on Monday. You're going to hear it on Tuesday, October 28th. Ottawa smacked Boston, Pittsburgh beat St. Louis. Tuesday, the 28th of October, we have every single NHL team in action. So,
Yay.
yeah, that's a lot. It happened early last season too around this time where we had every team just hop into action. But if there is any specific team that if you're listening to this on Tuesday when it comes out that you feel like you haven't seen enough of in the last little while, you will have the opportunity to watch them tonight. James, I'm going to put you on the spot. You can watch any player you want to watch in the NHL tomorrow. Are you going to pick the Colorado Avalanche game where they who do they play, James? New
The
Jersey, right?
Avalanche are playing against the New Jersey Devils
Yeah.
again in a matchup that I'm not particularly looking forward to because the Devils look damn good and my boy Scott Wedgwood has, how do I say it, faltered off a cliff.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think he's ever played this many games in the span of a month, and dude, it's not looking good. It's not nice right now. But I will say, if I am going to watch any game, absolutely any game, any player rather, I'm going to be looking at the Philadelphia Flyers because I'm liking what they're cooking up. The Flyers are playing against the Penguins. That's an awesome matchup. I won't be able to watch this game, 3 o'clock. I'll be on my way home from work, realistically, but I could catch the end of it. That game's a lot of interesting stuff for me because yeah, you get your handful of future Hall of Famers with the Pittsburgh Penguins, but um and you get some opportunity there with Rickard Rakell out of the lineup. You can kind of see like who's going to step up in his absence and eat up that power play time. That's an interesting thing when you're thinking about fantasy hockey. Who's going to take that opportunity and run with it? But then also the Philadelphia Flyers. I'm not seeing the sheer dominance on the ice that I thought I would have got from at least one of Travis Konechny, Matvei Michkov. I'm really impressed with what Trevor Zegras has shown so far this year. Christian Dvorak has bounced back nicely, but Travis Sanheim, why am I not blown away by his play? Like these are guys that I expected to continue taking strides and continue being the great players they already are, but I haven't seen that so far. So I'm curious to see. I'd love to watch that and see what the holes are, what can be fixed, and what really stands out.
Yeah, that's a good one to pick.
What do you got?
I have to give Trevor Zegras some credit because I did watch a whole Flyers game the other day. It was one of the best I've seen him play since he was a teenager. 8 points in 8 games for him so far, but I think you're
Uh,
right that.
you're cutting in and out, and I heard I have to give Trevor Zegras. That's
Oh,
the last thing I heard.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I have to give Trevor Zegras some credit. 8 points in 8 games. He's playing some of the best hockey I've seen him play since he was a teenager. Yeah, Philly, it seems, James, like you've got the Zegras, Dvorak. Owen Tippett's got 5 goals already. Tyson Forster's playing good hockey, but it's the guys that you want to see be superstars, right? Like you're getting the expected production out of those guys. You want Konechny, you want Michkov to be another level. We haven't seen that yet. But you know what? Rick Tocchet gets mixed results. So
Yep.
we'll see how much of this is consistent. We'll see how much of this changes. We'll see if Matt Vey or Travis just need a little bit more time under the new coach. But yeah, 16 games on Tuesday. And then, of course, we have one game on Wednesday. Toronto and Columbus are the only two teams who will swing the back to back.
Down for a Toronto Columbus game. I like that matchup.
Yeah, in Columbus on Wednesday. Um, One of the best things that I saw over the weekend was from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Two players reaching milestones. Victor Hedman's got 800 assists. Nikita Kucherov's up past 1,000 points. I
Wait,
think
you said Victor had been 800 assists.
800 points. 800
800
points.
points. Okay, gotcha.
Um, and then Kucherov gets 1,000 points. I think more than anything else, though, that Tampa team will have just been happy that they managed to rattle off back-to-back wins. They beat Anaheim 4-3 on Saturday. They beat Vegas 2-1 on Sunday. I watched both of these games and they were both dogfights. Finally, Brandon Hagel gets on the scoreboard. He opened the scoring against Vegas on Sunday. Tampa's a team kind of like where Pittsburgh and Washington were a couple years ago, where you're right on the precipice of needing to make a decision of, okay, is it time to move on from this group and start retooling for the future, or do we make tweaks and try and continue to win? Both Pittsburgh and Washington decided for the latter, and it worked out for Washington. It's worked out so far. They've continued to be a contender. It hasn't worked out for Pittsburgh. Will it continue to work out for Washington? I don't know. But Tampa Bay is a team that, no matter how you look at it, they've got an expiry date coming up. And if they want to still have a playoff run or two left in them, it's you can't be wasting seasons. So great weekend for Tampa. Nikita Kucherov scores in overtime on Sunday. That was after getting his 1,000th point on Saturday. So great weekend for him. Great weekend for the Bolts.
Doesn't it feel like Kucherov should have way more than 1,000 points?
Yeah, you're right. Don't
He
forget
missed the
though,
equivalent of like a couple seasons.
and he was a little bit late. Like he was,
Yeah.
I think, a 2013 pick that 2014, 15, we saw him like kind of start to creep up. He was a second liner with Tampa that year with Palat and Johnson.
Triplet line.
Yeah. And then the next
Stupid
year,
name. They don't look anything like each other.
it was just young guys, right? That was the Eastern Conference final that they just tore Henrik Lundqvist to shreds. I remember that, the three of them. Um,
Breaker.
yeah.
Okay, Aiden, I want to take things to Utah because I have a mammoth bone to pick, or perhaps a mammoth tusk to pick. You like that one?
They're
You like that
8-2 and 0. I don't know what your beef is here.
Well, my beef is that they're 8-2 and 0. I'm not ready for this team to be dominantly crazy. This goes against everything I believe in and understand the Central Division to be this year. Logan Cooley and Nick Schmaltz and Clayton Keller shouldn't all be 100-point players by season's end in my eyes. But if Nick Schmaltz continues his 130 something point pace, I'm sorry he won't. I mean, it'd be cool if he did. Like that's pretty nifty, but like I'm sorry, I don't see it. I yet again we've confirmed over and over again that I know nothing about hockey. I just talk about it for fun. Um, Logan Cooley is the really interesting part to me because to me this was a season where he's supposed to end up with like high 60s, low 70s in points. He's supposed to iron out the rest of his game. He's supposed to be probably coached a little bit tougher, given harder matchups, and seeing how that goes either way. But at this point, I'm going to be shocked if he doesn't have more than 80 points. It's kind of like grossing me out. When I watch my favorite team, the Colorado Avalanche, play in this Central Division, I'm supposed to be worried about Dallas. Right now, Dallas does not scare me. I watch the Dallas Stars play and something seems broken. With maybe new head coach or returning head coach Glenn Golitzin. Maybe it's just things aren't ringing. I don't know. Maybe not being coached by Peter DeBoer takes some meanness out of that squad, but I'm not worried about them. The Minnesota Wild, I play hopscotch with my worry about them. It's like, oh God, this is frightening to like, dude, just whatever. But the St. Louis Blues, I don't care about. So naturally, considering those three, I should be pretty gassed up about this season. Nashville's bad. Colorado, easy pick. But dude, I look at the Utah Mammoth and their stupid new mascot. Yeah, he's funny. Whatever. A lot of people are funny. I'm funny. Like, come on. No. I I
Shut
I
up.
I don't like Tusky. I
Okay.
don't. I'm taking Bowie or Gritty over Tusky.
Yeah, sure.
Do you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I
In
do
a in
hate
a, in a ranking of Bowie, Gritty, and Tusky, I have Tusky third, Bowie second, Gritty first. Fair?
Yeah, I feel like if you follow like Gritty's actual Instagram page, your opinion of him will go up because whoever, I mean, I don't know if it's the guy in the costume that runs the Instagram page. I'd actually be a little bit surprised if that's the case. But whoever takes Gritty around and posts dumb crap with him on Instagram does a good job because it's very humorous to see it pop up every now and then what Gritty's doing in Philadelphia.
At one point, a Gritty Young Guns rookie card from whatever Upper Deck Series 1 set it came in was worth like $150. And I had a friend who collected all the Young Guns sets, and I got him that for Christmas. And he was like, dude, thank you for the Gritty. And I mean, like, I don't think anybody cares about that anymore. To the point where when they made a Bowie rookie card, nobody wanted it. Those things were getting barbecued. No dice. I want that dumpster troll. But I digress. Back to my point. This Utah Mammoth team is gross. They're extremely talented. They bring a torrid pace to every game, and they play a style that just drowns teams. Whether it's the offensive creativity or the barraging forecheck. I mean, I didn't think they were going to fully arrive this hard. Aiden and I in our preseason rankings, I believe we had them between third and fifth in the division.
Yeah, I think I had them in third. I think they were my breakout team over the summer. I think it was Utah, Montreal.
And I had them fourth in the division.
Yeah, fourth or fifth.
Yeah, so like I mean, right now, it looks like they're a team that could run away with like 54, 55 wins and just piss me off all year long and make it so every time I turn to that matchup, I see Dylan Gunther snipe one in the third period and I'm just pissed and I'd shut the TV off. So if you're a Utah fan, congrats. Have fun. Um, you've continued to make me worry about teams in the division, but I really am curious to see what this team can do in playoffs because I'm sold on playoffs for them now.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
You want to talk NHL Global Series? Take it away.
Yeah, nothing but fun, man. Nothing but fun. You are a big EDM fan, right? So, have you heard about the arena in Stockholm that is called I think it's just called
It is called Avicii Arena,
Avicii Arena. Yeah.
named
That is
after the he's probably like the he's probably like the Wayne Gretzky of electronic music, realistically. He like popularized it to the point where it became a mainstream thing. Like it became something that like brings everyone together. Like you started to hear it in every video game soundtrack on the radio, everything. Like you're telling me when you're at your buddy's place about to go out for dinner for the night, everybody's having a quick drink, chatting, getting together, seeing each other for the first time. Someone puts on levels on the Bluetooth speaker while they're just like getting changed. You're getting amped up. It's
lots of
it,
yeah, lots more knowledge James has in that arena than I do, but it is if you know music, you know this guy was yeah, a pioneering figure. Um this arena is awesome. The Globen. It's a sphere. It's not like the Vegas sphere where it's like a projected screen on the outside and inside. But the shape of it is bigger than that of the Vegas sphere, and 13,850 seats in this thing for ice hockey. I like the teams. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Nashville Predators will go over there. The third weekend, I guess it works out to November 14th is the first game. November 16th is the second game. Pittsburgh, you get who you get, right? Erik Karlsson is the Swedish stud. On the other side, it's Philip Forsberg. So not only do you get to see Stamkos, O'Reilly, Crosby, Malkin, Letang, all these legends, but two of the best Swedish players in the NHL get to play in Stockholm against one another. I like it. I like the idea. I find these kinds of things where you have the like completely different sport, but the front of mind one because I've just been watching it all weekend was that Barcelona were going to go play a La Liga game in Miami, which is the Spanish Soccer Federation. That doesn't work. Like that was a horrible idea. Everybody hated it. But in hockey, where you're taking superstars and you're taking superstars of their native countries, you're going to Sweden and you're saying, okay, we're gonna specifically make sure this is a Philip Forsberg versus Erik Karlsson game in Stockholm. Like the NHL is the highest level of hockey in the world, but it's not North America's, right? Like we have so many players in this league from outside of North America. And the idea of fans in Stockholm getting to see those guys play an NHL game, it's super cool. Um, and I'm really interested to see how it looks in that building. So yeah, Friday, November 14th. That's the first one. I don't know if I'm even gonna be able to watch it live because I know I've got a tournament that weekend to work.
fun fact, Avicii Arena used to be known with its second name as the Ericsson Globe. And that's not its original name. Ericsson is the name of the company that had the naming rights, and they eventually changed it to Avicii Arena, obviously in memoriam. But when I was playing a franchise mode in NHL 2021, I used to do this thing called a Nation United that I got from a YouTuber I used to watch randomly here and there. and just honestly, just the nerdiest level of YouTube videos to watch. Watching franchise mode commentaries is like, Jesus, what was I doing? I mean, like I could have been like out like making friends or talking to girls or playing sports, but instead I was watching franchise mode commentaries. It says a lot about what I do. It's like Jesus. But yeah, I had a Sweden team. So, a nation united, basically, you pick a country and then you have to do an expansion draft with a team. You can only pick players of that country, you can only draft players of that country, and you can only sign players of that country. So, I started my team, the Stockholm Royals, at the Ericsson Globe. And I remember being near the end of it. I won a few cups there. Philip Forsberg running a train on the league all the way from Stockholm, racking up tons of air miles. And yeah, man, I remember getting to the point years and years down the line. And when I say years down the line, that's like 22 of 25 seasons into a franchise mode. It's just
Jesus.
ridiculous. Like there's not one real NHL player left. They're
I
all
don't
automatically generated.
I don't think I've got ever that far.
I've done 25 of 25 once.
Yeah,
It's
that
not
seems
worth it.
no, it seems crazy stuff.
There's no gold at the end of that rainbow. It actually just ends. Like there's no
Yeah.
presentation or anything. It was ridiculous. But yeah, I remember seeing that it changed to the Avicii Arena and then going to change my arena name. But they're like, no, you have to relocate to change. I was like, foiled again. Drat. Yeah, but Aiden, I'm gonna stop my rambling because we've got an interview to get to, and one I'm excited for our listeners to hear. This is a guy that I didn't know much about. I knew the family connection, and I knew you were a big fan of him as a person from your time in Blackfalds. Aiden, tell our listeners what to expect from our friend Carter Patterson.
Yeah, Carter is just starting his second year at Canisius College in Buffalo, playing in the NCAA. Was lucky, very lucky to cross paths with him while he was in the AJHL. He's a guy who played in the BCHL, played in the AJHL to get his NCAA Division One scholarship. Had the pleasure of meeting other members of his family while he was in Blackfalds. He's an awesome player. He's an awesome guy, and he was one of the people that I knew just love to pick his hockey mind, James, right?
Mhm.
Like we talk about hockey players, we talk to scouts, we talk about their job, we talk about their hockey lives. Something that often gets lost in the shuffle is these are hockey guys too. Just talk about whatever with them. So we'll talk about everything and anything with Carter Patterson, who was so nice, so gracious to give us as much time and as much detail about everything as he did. So we'll throw to James and I talking to Carter now. Our interviewee today, it's been weeks of me wanting to get this done in terms of like the immediate, let's get this interview with Carter Patterson done. But from pretty much this time you signed Carter at your school in the NCAA, I had kind of earmarked your story and your path there as one that I wanted to hear about more in depth. So Carter Patterson, tell me about. I want to start with you're 20 years old. You're a year older than me. So last year, or 2023-24 was your 20-year-old season. You're in Blackfalds, AJHL and BCHL, and you got 6 months left to junior. So tell me how it felt with, potentially some uncertain future to get wrapped up with an NCAA commit.
Yeah, definitely a stressful time, but I think it also brings like a lot of excitement. Going that 20-year-old year, just know it's the last year. I think mentality is just you want to enjoy every bit of it. Um, I think junior hockey lifestyle is like no other, and especially now in college, you just got a lot more responsibilities with academics and everything too added on. Yeah, I think it was just going in and just want to win. I think biggest and like foremost with everyone. I think on the team we had in Black Balls and everyone just wanted to win and get better like every day. And we were fortunate enough to have some unbelievable facilities and just like top of the top junior league facilities. And I think it was just trying to get better each and every day. And you try not to think about a lot of those factors and what's next, because I think it might bring you away from kind of what you kind of want to do. But I think it's just recognizing like that was obviously the goal going into it. And I think as the year went on, and obviously it gets stressful as going on, but I was very fortunate enough to end up at Canisius, the spot that I committed to, and I absolutely love it here and love everything about it, and just being so close to home, and all the coaches throughout the whole process were just unbelievable to me. So yeah, like I think it was once you kind of start having those conversations, the stress and stuff starts to ease a little bit. But I think leading up to it, it's definitely you're kind of that little unknown. But once the kind of ball gets rolling a little bit, it's a fun time and it's exciting for sure.
So you talk about being close to home. You're in Buffalo now. You're from Burlington. And so being close to home, it's not a luxury you've been able to enjoy really in your career so far. A little bit all over the place. You've gone from Eastern Canada to Massachusetts to Western Canada and now back to Buffalo. So you're the closest to home you've been in quite some time. That first step to leave Canada and go to Tabor Academy, I, I mean, I couldn't imagine doing that in high school. So I gotta ask, how was that? How was that transition? And obviously, you lost the COVID year too. So over the 3 seasons you were there, it must have been quite the grind to get through it. And then obviously, it came out on the other end, a junior A player.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, being out, I think I was 15 years old, moving away from home, and I remember all those conversations with my parents, and they were just so supportive of me. And I was actually living in Montreal at that point too, so honestly, I didn't know too much about prep school before when I was living in Burlington. And then when I moved, it kind of was an option that people like started talking about that I wasn't too aware of. And I was lucky enough, I was playing for my school in Montreal, John Rennie, and we went to a couple showcases and actually traveled down to Boston. So I was able to take a tour of Tabor and everything. And I loved it. Like it was right on the ocean, an hour away from Boston. And it's just, I think that aspect, you go live away and you live in dorms. I was living with one of my best buddies, and I got to meet some of my closest friends now, like till this day. Um, Definitely, it was hard at first. I remember, the car rides, driving to Boston, town car with my dad, and having to say bye to my mom and stuff, and the tears, and it doesn't get easy. Still doesn't get easy leaving home to this day, but you get a little bit more used to it. And I think it was something that like I recognized myself and my family. It was like the right move for hockey and even academics too, taking that next step and just being in the US, that exposure. I always knew I wanted to go college. So I think you kind of get that immediate exposure when you're younger with a lot of those central like Boston schools, and it's just a lot easier travel. So a lot more scouts can come to a lot of games. Um, it was an unbelievable 3 years. Like I loved every second of it. COVID too was obviously it was such a hard time, but we were on campus for actually like half the year, almost a full year, and we weren't able to leave. So it's just you get so close and you meet so many awesome people and friends that I'm lucky enough to still like have to this day. So I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I think it really helped that transition then to college and juniors, like to continue to live away from home, like way easier, just doing it from such a young age, and then kind of moving on. And it's just, yeah, it made it a lot easier and a lot more used to it. It never gets totally the easiest thing in the world, but yeah, it was hard at first, but I loved every second of it.
Now, Carter, you're saying from the start you want to go college. I mean, I know a lot of kids from Ontario, and I mean, the OHL, it always seems to be the dream for them. I mean, it's such a big shining lights kind of thing. Like it really is a spectacle over there. And I mean, growing up in Canada, I've always loved how seriously we take our junior hockey. I mean, for college to always be the route, what was in your mind growing up? How did that end up being the path?
Yeah, 100%. It is like the CHL. I know it's always that thing. You grow up like I grew up in Burlington. You go watch like Hamilton and
Mhm.
Guelph and some of those teams, and you're like, oh, like that's just it's what you want to do ever since you're a little kid. And I think too, I was a late bloomer to be
Mm.
honest. Like with hockey, I never really totally had that opportunity. My draft year and like kind of as those years went on, I was in Montreal when we moved, so it wasn't totally like I wasn't in the vicinity, so I didn't know totally how that worked, and I just knew it probably wasn't the best idea. I was a little bit smaller actually, like growing up and stuff, and really like didn't grow into like who I was as a hockey player and a person till I was a lot older. So I know for a lot of kids, just like the phenoms, and everyone obviously is like develops in different paces and stuff. So I know for me, it was never totally an option, honestly, on the table. Like it was obviously like what you wanted to do when you're younger, but I realized pretty quickly, I was like, hey, I think you watch those like I remember watching like Quinn Hughes, like Michigan highlights and stuff, and some of these ranks and just the fan sections and everything. You just dream, and then I kind of was like, oh, like seems like pretty awesome. And then I kind of realized that CHL wasn't the only path. There's actually like I could do something else, and I think too it bought me some time to get a couple more years under my belt and play like prep school, then go to junior A and just kind of continue to develop because honestly, I looking back on it, I don't think I was probably like stepping in right away wouldn't have been probably the best decision for me. And I think just having time to, grow and gain confidence and grow into my body a bit. I grew like really quickly when I was like 16 and just had to get into a lot of like, get in the gym a lot more and stuff. And that was kind of when the whole training aspect became a big thing at that age. So I was like, I knew I had to get some more weight on and all that stuff. So yeah, like it was definitely growing up. I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. And it kind of slowly shifted as I realized it was another path. And yeah, I love college, and I'm a big school too. I'm a big school guy. I love school, and I enjoy going to class and stuff and learning. And I just think being able to do both things that I love is just I'm living the dream.
What are we going to school for right now?
Just a business major right now. Gonna probably go into finance, and then I'm doing actually a sports psych minor. I think just the mental side of the game is such a huge aspect now. And I've realized over the years, like just self-talk, confidence, and like kind of developing that routine. And I think it's just even just in class and learning about it, it can give you like a little bit almost an advantage in a way if I can learn a little bit more and understand and can apply that just to life in general too, as well as hockey.
Love
Okay,
to
I'm
hear it, man.
jumping.
And I mean, it makes you a better teammate as well.
100%. Yeah, you get to learn more about yourself, right, to help other teammates for sure.
Carter, I'm jumping the gun a little bit here. I kind of had this back pocket maybe if it gets there, but I'm going straight for it because you talked about doing the sports psych minor and how big that is, and obviously your love of the school and love of education. So I'm gonna say a name. It's Trevor Large. He's your head coach. Trevor Large played 4 years at Ferris State, and 2 seasons after he was done, he hopped in as an assistant coach at American International College, and he's been an NCAA coach since then. Everything you've said, not just me knowing you, but everything you've said in this interview, is already screaming at me that something like coaching is in the repertoire of your hockey future. Is that something you've ever really given serious thought to?
Yeah, 100%. I think I've always wanted to stay in hockey as long as I can. And honestly, I was like when I was looking at majors and what I wanted to do in school, um, I think a big thing was to look at what could I possibly take that could keep me in the game. I always thought too, like obviously being like a physical therapist and stuff like that was pretty awesome. Um, but I think yeah, just sports psychology. Like my mom actually has her PhD in psychology, and she used to like when we were in Montreal, like had a lot of athletes and stuff in hockey specifically with sports psychology. So that was always thing, and I think coaching too, like just being in the game for so long, I feel like you just get to learn so many things and greet. And I feel like I've had awesome coaches, to be honest, like I've been very fortunate to have some pretty awesome coaches and to learn just a lot of like amazing things. And I think it's definitely something I would love to do, like just being able to help, the next generation and continue to just stay in the game and have an influence on it. Because I know obviously hockey comes to an end for everyone at some point. So I think just, yeah, it's definitely something I would absolutely love to do at some point for sure.
I love the head on your shoulders, man. Like I've talked to a good handful of guys that after junior, after college, it's a really tough transition, and I feel like the way you think, it's going to be a little bit easier for you. I mean, hanging up the gear, it's not easy for anyone, but man, that's I like the plan you got, and I like the way you think about it. I mean, I really, really want to park a second here now that I know you a little bit better, and what kind of teammate do you really want to be? Like, I mean, the way you talk about it and the way you talk about kind of understanding people a little bit better, it feels like it's an interesting point for me.
Yeah, I think it's just honestly, I want to be someone that just can push guys every single day.
Hmm.
I feel like I've taken a lot of pride in just my own actions and how I put myself forward each and every day and the things I can do. little things to get better each and every day, and everything I can do that, I hope is contagious to other people. And I think too, like my best teammates, like I know, like Cody Willick, like that's just a guy that like I would run through a brick wall for that kid. I would do anything. Like it was just someone that you just love to be around. I think I've been lucky to have some great teammates too, and just learn from those guys. And I think I just want to be someone, obviously, who's going to push guys and compete and practice, but also like I want to learn and listen and be like just someone who guys can feel like they can just come chat with. It's just stressful. Everyone's going through the different things in life, so I want to be someone who's there for someone and can lift guys up and stuff during a game and be vocal and guys need it. I think like that. So I'm trying to touch on honestly all aspects I can and just try and round out everything I can be to kind of be that teammate for someone that they'll need.
Spoken
I
like a
was
guy that
once,
should have a letter on his chest already, honestly.
yeah, I was once told that junior hockey growing up, especially if you start young, it's like a brotherhood. It's like that. It's that we're growing together aspect. But when you play college, it feels like family. Does that ring true for you?
100%. You see guys every single day, all the time. Like you do everything with them, and we take some decently long road trips. Like we were in Bentley this past weekend. I think that's 8 hours there and back. So like it's pretty long. We go to like Sacred Heart, and we have Air Force in our Division 2. Like we take a plane there, so that's like you're just on the road a lot. You're just always at the rink with guys, and it's the guys you go to war with every single weekend. And yeah, I 100% agree with you. It's just, and you get to grow with them like for 4 years. I just find with juniors too, like the nature of it, guys are just in and out a bit more. It's just more of like that side, like guys are going trading and stuff like that, where college doesn't happen. Like obviously there's like stuff happens, but yeah, you're with like the same guy, same class 4 years, and you just get to continue to grow with them. And it's something that I like was really like drawn to with college. And honestly, going to my second year now it's been a lot of fun, and I love everyone on the team. We have an unbelievable group of guys this year, and so it's been great.
Playing against Bentley, you take any shifts against Stevie Castagna? He's a Vancouver guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
captain there, right?
yeah.
Yeah, he was a good player,
Oh
really good.
yeah, yeah. Really solid guy too.
How many guys did you know on this Canisius roster before you came in? I know, obviously you play a lot of hockey, you see a lot of different teammates, see a lot of different opponents. Did you know anybody coming in?
Yeah, like I'd say almost like 5 or 6 guys familiar with, at least like when we split off into the BCHL. Not last year, we played a couple of guys a ton of times going in to the end of the season. A couple guys from Brooks. We have a couple of Sherwood Park guys. So just you get to know them a bit more. So just familiar with them, and a couple of guys I knew growing up coming into it. We have actually a lot of Canadians. Just since we're so close to the border, it's appealing for a lot of Canadians, and specifically a lot of guys from Ontario. So familiar with a lot of guys. Not anyone I was extremely close with, but it just makes it so much easier to make that transition when you kind of have that common ground a bit and can chat about a lot of those experiences that you had kind of pretty similar to them.
So you have talked about growing into your game, growing into yourself. Setting the stage though, since the majority of people that'll watch this will only have seen you play after because they rush to watch Canisius college games, obviously after this. But you are a 6'4" right shot defenseman who, when I watched you play, was the perfect partner to your run of the mill offensive, go out there, skate, score, Lane Hudson kind of player. Have you found yourself somebody who you can cover all their defensive mistakes for in college yet?
Yeah, I think it's just I've had a couple like unreal partners. Like I played with most guys on the team. You kind of like find yourself in some different positions, playing with different guys, and um, it's just like in college, like everyone is just so good. So it's just like it's just so fun, and you get to play with some unbelievable players. Yeah, I think I just take pride in trying to be a reliable guy in the defensive zone and hard to play against and physical, but I also do love chipping in offensively and trying to develop and round out my offensive game for sure. Um, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've had the opportunity to play with some unbelievable players so far, so I'm just excited to see how this year keeps developing in the years to come.
Okay, we've talked about a lot of teammates. I'm going to ask now about the guy that I will probably call your first teammate here. Um, I think you and I might have had a conversation. I've definitely had a conversation with some other junior hockey players about how it's always the younger sibling that has to get good at the young age to compete with the older sibling. Um, and Riley Patterson, I think you know that I'm a Canucks fan, Carter. So I got a lot of hope that Riley, who was picked in the fourth round in 2024, turns into quite a player. He's in Niagara right now, which means again, you guys are closer to one another than you've been for a while. So first of all, have you got out to see him play in the O yet this year? And then obviously talk a little bit more about your younger brother and growing up with him and the paths that you guys have taken here.
Yeah, no, it's so nice that he's close now too, and being Niagara. I actually have been able to get out a couple games. Their home games this year actually kind of fall on Sundays, which actually works out really nice since we're predominantly playing Friday, Saturdays. So I've been out to get watch a couple games, and it's pretty special, the type of player he is, and I think more specifically too, like the person he is. He's honestly he's my best friend, like closest to me, and just so supportive. And I think we've been able to grow together. We've had different paths just with hockey. He's an unbelievable player, and obviously just different positions being a forward, which I think's helped because like when we kind of started getting to that age a little bit more, like his draft to the OHL, and obviously like you're practicing the same, and it's like we're going out and practice together, and I'm like, man, he is good. Like he's just and like I'm a defenseman, obviously, so like just playing going against them one-on-one battles and just one-on-ones and being able to help each other and talk through different situations and different scenarios and stuff. And I think too, like we follow along with both our seasons. Like whenever I can, I'll watch watch him play like online or in person, and he does the same. So just like chatting after games, and if we noticed anything that we feel like can help each other. But yeah, he's an unbelievable player, and he's had a really good start, and he's been playing really good hockey, and he deserves everything that's happened with drafted and signing, and he's worked so hard. And I think too that's honestly what pushes me like even more. And obviously that's my goal. I want to play professional hockey. I want to continue to play hockey for as long as I can. And um, just seeing that he's has his foot in the door now with signing and has an opportunity to keep going, it motivates me to just want to even be better and get in position and do that as well with him.
Considering the two of you share notes here and there, I've got to ask, what's the most insightful thing he's told you after watching you play?
Um, honestly, like he's like he's like unbelievably skilled. So
Hmm.
I think just maybe like a little bit here and there with like stick positioning, maybe just kind of like that sort of work, and um just the little plays. I think just if I get an opportunity coming in on a rush or like late attacker, and maybe it's a little more of a deceptive play, head fake, stuff like that to get the goalie moving or get the defender to bite. I think it's obviously he's in that situation usually a bit more than me. So I think it's a little bit of feedback just so like when I'm in that situation, like kind of have that instinct that takes over, and can listen to him a little bit more with that.
Is Riley a better center or winger?
Center for sure. I like honestly, he's unreal at winger too. Like he's very just diverse and dynamic. But I think too, like the biggest aspect is he's really good on the dot. He's really good at faceoffs, and I think it just as a center, he's a chance to use his speed. He's just a really quick, powerful skater, and I think just naturally at the center position, you're moving a lot more and just skating a lot more. And I think you know the center position like allows you to drive, like can drive his line and drive players, and you kind of can bring people with you as a center. I feel like a little bit more just because you can control the game in both zones and all three of them. So yeah, that's what I would say for sure.
Carter, I'm running out of questions here. This has been a ton of fun so far, but I wanted to park a few minutes at the end to ask about some of these places you played because I mean,
100%.
we're talking about places that I personally have experience at most, and then other places that are completely foreign to me. So first things first, Montreal, one of my favorite cities to hang out in. I love the food there. I love the people. Tell me a little bit about that experience, especially at a young age.
Yeah, honestly, it was extremely difficult to start.
Hmm.
Just you had to learn another language with French, and I went to it's called Export Etudes, was what they called my program of high school I was in. So basically, I would kind of go to school from 8 to 12 in the morning, and then I'd go play hockey after, whether that was like working out, playing. So it was kind of formatted already to the hockey aspect. But I think too, just going there for orientation, and the orientation's in French, and I'm just sitting there like just trying to do my best to understand. And I have a lot of classes like geometry and stuff, and you're like, geometry's hard enough, and I'm just now I got to try and learn it in another language. But I'm unbelievable to you. I still her name is Madame Gardner. She helped me so much and just tutored me late after hours and helped me with exams and homework. And honestly, she like helped me so much get through those years. But I 100% agree with you said. It's just a beautiful, beautiful city. I lived on the West Island, so
Mm.
about 35 minutes from like the city downtown area. But like you go to like old Montreal and all these places, and the food is just, oh, the food is like next level. Like it was so fun, and I was able to meet a lot of my good buddies now actually that I still am able to keep in touch with. It was kind of that age, like you're kind of entering high school, and you kind of get that solid foundation of a friend group. And a lot of them were all hockey players. I played with them on the same team, and it's nice. Like obviously, still get to catch up and see them and hang out with them every once in a while. But it was an experience that I think facing adversity at a young age, it was just something I needed. I think that's helped shape me. It's just being able to go through that challenge, and even with hockey too. And hockey was really, really good because they played two age groups combined together kind of thing. Like it was pretty, I ended up being the older age group, but they kind of combined together. So it just makes that competition even more. And I played with some kids that have moved on and played college and NHL now and stuff. And you get the opportunity to play with guys like that. It's pretty special. So I think that pushed me, and just I learned how to adapt in a lot of different situations and just learn. And I think I've been able to apply just those lessons just in life in general now. So I'm very grateful for my time there for sure. I love it. I wish I could get back there more often.
Next, you take it up to Massachusetts at Tabor Academy. I mean, that's about as big of a change as you can get. I mean, you're used to the East Coast lifestyle, but I feel like it's pretty different in that whole New England, Massachusetts area. What was that transition like? And I mean, would you do it all again?
Yeah.
Nice.
No, the transition it was definitely different, 100%. And it was nice being a couple years older, but I wouldn't trade anything. Like I would do the exact same thing over again if I had the choice every step of the way. I loved it, honestly. Like, Tabor, just living away from home was just so different. And you get to live in a dorm with your best buddies, and it's just it's just crazy. Like it's just something you always thought you wanted as a kid growing up and having that opportunity. And I was able to play like in the springtime when we weren't in hockey. I played for the golf team. We played at this course like on the water, and it's just I got to do so many things, and a lot of local kids actually went to the school. So you're able to visit, and I was able to experience like go see Cape Cod and just go downtown Boston, like watch the Bean Pot and stuff like that. Like we go up every year. My roommate Shane LaChance, who plays, he's in the Devils organization now. He played the farm team for Utica. He's my roommate there, and his grandfather, like Jack Parker, who's an absolute like he's a legend in BU, and his dad Scott LaChance, he's a scout now. He's been a scout for like the Devils for a while. Like they were like their family was unbelievable to me. They took me in. They knew that obviously they live close. He was from like Andover area, so about an hour and a half, and they knew I was pretty far away, and that transition's hard. So they took me in, brought me home to like during all the holidays I couldn't get home and stuff, and took me to those hockey games, and it was just an absolute blast. Like I was very fortunate. I've been gifted to meet some incredible people.
Did you shake hands with Jack Barker?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
You hear so many stories about him. The guy is an absolute legend. I mean, I've heard some of the like players' first meetings with him when they play for his team are just hilarious. I mean, like he's just such like a stoic legend of the game. Do you have a Jack Parker story for us by chance?
Not, I don't know if I remember any too specific. I remember I met him Thanksgiving. We
Mm.
got time off, and so I got to go and meet his whole family. And I think just honestly being able to just like pick his brain and just talk about like hockey, and obviously, like you said, like just a legend in the game of hockey and stuff, and hear of all these stories. And but then you kind of meet him, and you're just like, he's so awesome and so down to earth, and just loves talking hockey, and you just appreciate those conversations because just when you talk with someone that's been at that level and coached and just had so much success, just like me personally, I'm just like, I want to know everything and stuff. Like, let's just like, it's just really nice that they're willing to share and share what they've gone through as well. So it was, yeah, it was awesome.
I got one more place to ask about, and it's not Buffalo. It's not Black Falls. I'm going to ask you about Merritt. You played a brief 16 games for the Centennials, and I mean, there's a handful of pretty big and pretty bustling places you got to play, and Merritt is far different. For those of you listening who don't know Merritt, BC, it's situated in the Okanagan. It's almost or just outside the Okanagan. It's like almost like in BC's interior. It's very desert-ish, and it's the only place I've ever seen a tumbleweed, like one of those things you see blowing by at high noon in an old Western movie. And if you drive through that town at the right time of day, you might be convinced that no one lives there. It's dead quiet at times, and I have to ask about that experience. After playing in Montreal, after living in a place where you're gonna get to pop down to Boston once in a while, what was adjustment to life in Marriott like?
Yeah, it was different for sure. Um, just I think, the town, just obviously like the population, I think was, I don't know what it is, like maybe 5,000,
Hmm.
a lot different. There's not, the same, like I'm more of like a city kid growing up, just always lived kind of around the city and near it. So it's definitely different, but absolutely gorgeous. Like it is just beautiful there. And um, definitely was able to do things like I wouldn't be able to do here. Like I remember going hunting and stuff for the first time and experiencing that. And, um, just going back roading and stuff with like the truck through all these different trails and, just being able to just experience that life. And I had, my billet parents there were unbelievable. I still talk to them till this day, keep in touch all the time. And they made that transition easy because that was kind of the first juniors, like the time with juniors for me was just, prep school was a big jump, but juniors,
Hmm.
like that is even further away, like a 5 hour flight and time difference. It was very difficult at first. I think just obviously missing home and everything, but it was completely different than what I'm used to. But I loved it. Like I love the Western lifestyle and the people there are just so awesome and so supportive. And that town too really loved their hockey. Um, it was a lot of fun to play in that rink and being able. I was fortunate to play played against Penticton and some of these like pretty cool places that we got to experience in my like short time there. So yeah, it was definitely a lot different, but I loved it again too. It was awesome.
I want one note about Blackfall. I've heard a million things about it. I know Aiden loved working for the Bulldogs, and it seemed like you guys had a real brotherhood going on there. We interviewed Lane Loomer on here. Guy was a total beauty. I believe we interviewed a couple more of your teammates as well, at least one of them. And man, I really really loved the tight knit group you guys had. Give me one memory from Blackfall. It's one that stands out among the rest.
I think just practice was like I remember Aiden, you remember like just like Brandes, like David, I think you guys had him on here.
Yep.
Like
Oh
when
yeah.
he did like the mic'd up and stuff and just being able to almost just be a spectator and listen to like the things these guys say and how like they're just absolutely hilarious and guys just like too like the practices and how guys talk and get along and stuff like how well guys love each other and stuff and being traded there too in November and I think it was not a hard transition like at all. They made me feel so welcome and I would say like I was definitely like a little quieter at first, but quickly I was just talking and joining in on all the fun and stuff, and just everyone was just so great in the locker room. And I think too we had a really nice schedule and going to the rink and stuff, and we were there for a lot of time, but it was just awesome. Like we were able to watch them. I just remember sitting down, watching TV, and like we have a little like kind of room there by before the gym, and all of us would just sit there and like put on an NHL game or put on something and just sit and chat and just hang out. And I think just those experiences alone and just being able to go to the rink and, going and just looking forward to seeing there like those guys every single day. I know no matter how I'm feeling, if I'm down, having a tough day or like I will not be having a tough day coming home from that rink because they're we had such good people and it was a blast. I think those like the practices, those days were just so fun. And I just remember those like for the off days being able to watch football and stuff and all get along and like all like come over to one guy's house, watch some football, watch the Super Bowl. And those are the experiences like I remember the most. And I think I just cherish to this day because life goes by fast, and I can't believe I'm already here, like 9 games into the second season. I'm like, wow, like I felt like I was just 20 years old again, going through my last year juniors. So just to be here now, it's pretty special, and I'm just so grateful that I've had those experiences.
So you'll notice actually with the roster of people that I like to have on here, James and I are like deep hockey nerds, man. Like you know that about me, but it's obsessive. And I know for you it's a little bit of the same where it's not just your game, it's not just Riley's games, it's the sport as a whole.
Hmm.
You're a big Leafs fan.
Yeah.
How confident are you right now about this season?
It's early. It's early. We're not off to a great start, the Leafs, but I have hope. Like I think some of the signings over the offseason with some of the numbers the guys signed in was good. And I think some of the pieces, I think people jump, Toronto's obviously a massive sports market. Like you have the Jays going on right now too and stuff. And it's so good for the city, honestly, just that buzz around everything. But people get dramatic probably about the Leafs pretty quickly early on. And I'm just like, everyone's okay, like calm down. Like we're not out of the playoffs or nothing crazy's happened. Like I think a lot of new guys have been brought in. So like it probably seems like kind of got to gel and get along with some new teammates and stuff. But I got hope. Obviously, been let down as a Leafs fan over the years with all the playoff exits. So I just want a solid run here. That's all I'm asking for, a solid run.
Okay, has Aiden been transparent with you? He's a noted Leafs hater. Like this guy takes
Oh yeah.
any second he can to hate the Leafs and everything about them.
You know what though, man? Carter, I had them as in the Stanley Cup final last year, and it was jarring. It was jarring that they didn't get there because there came a point where I was pretty bought into the idea we were going to get an Edmonton Toronto
Oh,
Canadian
that would have
Stanley Cup
been
final.
that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
The Canada needed that. Canada needed
Yeah.
that. Like that just head on head, like best on best, like Matthews versus McDavid would have been. I would have loved. I cheered for the Oilers too. Like they're probably like the second team I cheer for. Like honestly, all Canadian teams, whoever's left in the playoffs and whatever's going on, it would just be great for Canada just to win one here for one of the teams. But it's so fun to watch them play. I just like watching the Vancouver Edmonton game like last night. You just get to like watch some of those guys play, and you're in awe the entire game. Like they're just unbelievable.
Dude, I swear, as soon as you started talking Leafs, I just heard a little bit of the Ontario beauty accent coming out from you. Just a bit.
Every once in a while, every once in a while.
Carter, the first time I heard David Brandis say the word clicks instead of any other word to describe traveling in a car, it just floored me. I had to
Yeah,
have him say it a few times.
he's hilarious. He's one of the funnier guys I've ever met in my life for sure.
So this is one you might have to think on, but the last pro hockey question I'm going to ask you because you just mentioned best on best. We got Olympics coming up. So you as a defenseman, name your top 6 Team Canada defensemen for this Olympics in February.
That is a hard question.
There are wrong answers.
So did you guys already go through kind of pick yours too?
No,
No.
no.
I had one in the
Obviously, like
summer. I had one in the summer, and I think Josh Morrissey is the main guy that's been playing his way right off it right now.
hmm, obviously like Makar, Taves. Uh, who else? Trying to think who's on
Here, I can grab the Four
the
Nations.
yeah, like I'm trying the defenseman. Obviously like Parenko is a good guy to have because I think just some versatility. Just he's a big defenseman that you want. Theodore, I think he's got to be on there. Petrangelo too is a hard hit because I think he would. That's probably four. Who else am I going with? Oh, Thomas Harley too, right? He was the
Hmm.
late ad to get. He asked. I love his game. I think he's underrated. Just obviously with Heiskanen being on Dallas, he doesn't get talked about enough. So I think he has to be on there.
I'm
Who
looking
else? Who
at
else?
it. I'm looking at it. I think it's either Thomas Harley or Matthew Schaefer in that spot that I had
I
Morrissey and
think I
James.
think I think Schaefer definitely is 100% worthy of the conversation.
So
He's been unbelievable to start.
Hmm.
I bring this up every single time we talk about this tournament coming up, and a lot of people that for some reason listen to this often have heard me talk about this, but I want your perspective on it as a defenseman. I've talked to a lot of people about how much of a difference the extra 10 feet of space between the boards and you makes on the international ice. And there's guys like Brad Marchand and Mark Stone that I'd love to see go on this team. But I want to hear it straight out of the mouth of a guy who plays that position, plays that defense position. How much different is it to face down the prospect of playing on the double IHF Olympic surface, which gives you it's an extra 20 feet across and a lot more space
Yeah,
to the outside.
100%. I think it definitely needs to be like in the conversation. That's why I think a guy like Schaefer just being like how dynamic and the skater he is, and it's just it opens up obviously a lot more time and space. And I think too that's why it's getting a good like versatility. Like Pranko, just obviously he's got just such a wider reach, just can take up a lot of that ice. Where a guy like Schaefer is going to take that ice up a lot more with his feet and just the way he can move and control a game. And honestly, I think guys like obviously him and like Makar and Quinn Hughes and those just shifty defensemen, just I'm sure just absolutely love playing on ice like that. And all they want is more time and space with the puck to make those like deceptive plays and just can beat guys one on one way like just having that more time can just beat guys on the blue line or going back for pucks and stuff. So I think too like I'd say honestly Morrissey or Shaver would definitely be the other two guys that I agree like having a conversation with who else. Those probably be my last two. So I think that's yeah that's what I would say for sure.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Anything else you got, James, in the chamber for Carter?
No, I think that just writes Drew Doughty off the team. It's like it's a sad day, but it's got to
Yeah.
happen
Oh, I
eventually.
forgot. You don't. I think he's got to be in the conversation. It's Drew Doughty. How do
Yeah.
you not? It's Drew Doughty. And he was really good too in that tournament last year. He was unbelievable. I think actually I'm putting him in,
Mm.
and then I guess if you're going seven, Morrissey or Schaefer, then you have to have a conversation then about them if you're going to go seven. I think that experience too, like a guy like that in the locker room, you need someone who's been there and done that. It's been there throughout the years. And I think a solid guy like that on the back end that can share those experiences with, obviously like he just played way more years and had those experiences and played for Team Canada a lot more than some of these guys. So I think that's just such a valuable piece that you have to have.
Carter, when the Leafs undoubtedly win a playoff series this spring, you got to come back on so we can rub it in Aiden's faces.
100%. I'll be there, especially when they win the cup too. You'll have to have me on again.
Love to see it. Love to see
Dude,
it, man.
if they win the cup the first year after Marner leaves, like that, nothing nothing would make me think that there was a script writer more than that all coming together that way.
Hey, it would be great. I would love for them to win. That would be unbelievable. Need to make it happen. They'll get her
All
done.
right.
They'll get her done.
Thanks so much, man. This has been a ton of fun. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's great talking, and I love talking hockey. So thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks.
Anytime, bro. All the best this season. I'll be paying attention to you and your brother moving forward.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, fellas, that was Carter Patterson. Thank all of you guys for listening to that one. We had a blast with him. And Aiden, is that now our Maple Leafs correspondent?
I don't know if we can put that much on his shoulders, man. I don't know if we can saddle him with that. That seems like such a large burden to place on him
You just
without.
don't want to hate him.
Dude, I listen. I feel like the last however many years, like I can dislike Toronto, but it's so clearly not like just hating them. I was so high on this team last year. I have no reason to think that they're
You
not
can
going to win a
hate
playoff
things that
series
are
this
you can
year.
hate things that are good and successful. That is
Yeah,
a
but
just
but
because you think they're good doesn't mean you don't hate them.
yeah, but but if I'm gonna spend so much time, we've spent so much time on the Leafs in the last couple of years on this podcast, and I guarantee you, I've probably said more in favor of the team than against the team in the last, at least in the last year. Um,
I'll be honest, in the first like 30 episodes, when your Leafs hate became more and more blatant than ever, and like that was in one of your most frequent like sharing like anti-Leafs memes stages of your life. I brought them up in our rundown more often than ever. I was,
Just to get the like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you know what? That's actually called the internet right now. What a random segue away from the Carter Patterson interview. But if you find yourself getting angrier and angrier on the internet, that is actually intentionally done. It is on purpose that you engage more with things that make you angry, so you see more that makes you angry. So if you find yourself in a social media rabbit hole, that is actually a fact, and that is why. So keep that in mind.
It's really interesting because a guy at work, we were talking about algorithms the other day, and he said recently, just out of the blue, without him engaging in anything that weird, it in the like suggested reels section, it just shows him Latinas angrily yelling at each other. And he can't figure out why. And this is like no matter what in there, it'll be like a Latina arguing about something and it'll just say like Latin vibes.
I went through, okay, so often I'm logged in to like five or six different Instagram accounts. Like we obviously have our podcast one. I'm usually working
Ooh, I
for
wonder
one.
if you get my cookies like sifting into.
Oh, I don't know. Obviously, like I'm usually working for one team at a time, so I'll have that
Yeah.
team's logged in, and then it's HN Live, my broadcast company, and then it's the CSSHL. That explore page on Instagram has sometimes on one of those accounts, like there was one time and it was one of the team accounts. Dude, I opened up the account, I opened up the explore page, like almost by accident, just because I needed to do something on there. James, hundreds of like it was around the time the second Avatar movie came out. I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen it. I hadn't like bought a ticket for it. I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. I didn't dislike it. It was good. Um, but I open up this Instagram and dude, it is this hundreds of versions of the same photo. And that was the most bizarre experience I had with an Instagram algorithm, I think, where I'm on like a team account and I'm just flooded with these avatar memes as I'm trying to post a story for this junior hockey team.
Something where I think that there's someone out there at Meta, the parent company of Instagram and Facebook office, where they're like, you know what? Let's just screw this guy's page up, see if he notices.
No, no, I completely reject the idea that Meta would remotely entertain putting resources into anything that isn't directly going to make them money.
You don't
There's
think
no
there's a
way.
guy out there who's bored in the office? There's
Dude,
definitely someone who's bored in the office.
James, these companies, they don't have anybody bored in the office anymore.
No?
No, it's called streamlining efficiency. They fire
Ugh,
80% of the staff. That's how she goes, man. That's what happened.
yeah.
Yeah, it's everybody who got laid off in the last 10 years. That's that's the people who might have done that.
Well, I've only ever been laid off thrice in my life, so we up, bro. We up. And while we up, I'm gonna talk about why we down in my fantasy gamblers roundup. Aiden, I get excited about this segment now. You said last episode this is my baby. I don't know if I'd call it my baby because I certainly don't nurture it and treat it with the care I'd like to, but I mean the effort's there, the thought's there. So for those who haven't listened to the last few episodes, we call it the Fantasy Gamblers Roundup because you need to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and know when to walk away when it comes to these players in fantasy hockey. Because it ebbs and flows. You don't know sometimes who's going to drop off a cliff. Man, I've got this piping hot Nick Schmaltz. Ooh, my Shane Pinto's so cool. Well, a couple weeks go by, and you're left holding the bag on this guy who just isn't what he was. And now nobody's going to trade you what you thought he was worth. So let's start it there. Let's start with Nick Schmaltz. This is a player who, Aiden, I believe he's still top three in league scoring as of today.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah, yeah. Nick Schmaltz is a fantastic NHL hockey player. I mean, if you are a kid growing up and you are a forward and you're a solid scorer or you're a good two-way threat, you should really watch some Nick Schmaltz and take some tips for things to add to your game. He's a multi-dimensional threat, really great at everything from the neutral zone out. I mean, I like him in the defensive zone in transition, but the neutral zone is where this guy feasts. He is fantastic on the ice, pretty much everywhere. But creativity on display quite a bit lately, playing with these other hot players in Utah. But Utah has surged up to first in the Central Division, and Nick Schmaltz has launched up the scoring board. I really, really want you, if you are currently an owner of Mr. Schmaltz, dude, trade him away. Right now, I want to say he's a top three, maybe even number one player in fantasy hockey in banger league formats that count special teams, count shots, blocks, hits, all of the above. That's always what we're talking when we're talking fantasy. But dude, right now, Nick Schmaltz is averaging a whole fantasy point more than Connor McDavid. Now, nobody in my league is dumb enough to trade Connor McDavid for Nick Schmaltz, but maybe in your league they are. Weirder things have happened. If you have a Nick Schmaltz on your roster, maybe target a player that's underperforming. Aiden, who is underperforming? Give me a guy. Give me a high-end rated R superstar that we're not seeing the best of.
Dude, like the first thought of mine is Andrei Svechnikov, but like the way he's playing, it doesn't even feel like giving him the like, oh, grade A rated superstar. I feel like we're giving him too much credit. We're giving
Yeah,
him, yeah, like this Carolina team, I think has like grown out of him.
yeah.
Like it's grown away from him being an effective player. And that just leaves a giant question mark. But Andrei Svechnikov is the kind of guy that if the Carolina Hurricanes, which we've seen them do every year, decide that maybe they need to make a big move, like they did with Rantanen last year, and Svechnikov's the guy on the block, well, he could easily go somewhere where he's the guy. He's the number one left winger. So, um, as much as I'm watching Carolina play and I'm watching him play bad, um, if he gets moved, you could see him all of a sudden just a spark underneath him and he blows up. Gets a spot on the first power play unit somewhere and just finds a spark of chemistry and goes off.
If you are currently an owner of Nick Schmaltz, go offer the owner of Mitch Marner in your league one for one. And if they accept and you win later this year, because you got to reap the rewards of Schmaltz's early season craziness, and then you get Marner being hot as hell the rest of the season, and you win. Say you win a few $100. I would like a 5% tax. I'll provide my address. You can get it in my DMs. Yeah, you can mail cash directly to me. I'm not willing to give you my direct deposit info, but I mean we could talk about that if it's a higher percentage. Next player up, Matt Coronado. This is a guy who was fairly high on fantasy draft rankings. A guy who I felt rightfully so was on track for probably a 55 to 65 point season. Aiden and I are both fairly high on Matt Coronado. Hell of a player, but this is a Calgary Flames team that is struggling. They just won their first game after an 8 game skid. I want to say they lost seven, eight, maybe nine in a row, something like that. It is not looking good for the Flames. Dustin Wolf trying his best, accusing the team of not scoring enough goals, saying, I'm doing all I can. I had my guy pretty much. Dude, Coronado's going to bounce back. This is a young guy having a bit of a sophomore slump after signing a big deal, and that's a tale as old as time. I really want to say that if you are in any kind of keeper format, this is a player where you need to know when to hold him. Do not let this guy run away. I am going to our buddy Joe in our fantasy league right now, who owns Matt Coronado, and Joe's team's looking pretty sexy right now. Pretty damn good. Now, Matt Coronado not playing as great as he would like. He drafted him quite high. That's a player he's depending on to provide him some fantasy points. That is a direct plan of attack for me. I want to take full advantage of that guy every single time. That's how you win in a dynasty format, and I will definitely be targeting a player of that style. Aiden, I have one more player before you take it away with yours, and this one is a heartbreaker for me. Gabriel Landeskog, one of my favorite hockey players ever to lace him up. A guy who, when I think about him, I yeah, sometimes I think I'm about to have a happy tear thinking of him hoisting the Stanley Cup and coming back after all of that time rehabbing his injury. I really, really want to say that he's going to get better. He's going to shake the rust off. He's going to come back. Well, I believe the excitement may be gone a bit, and this is a prime example of you need to know when to walk away. Gabriel Landeskog in fantasy hockey used to be a top 25 player. This was a power forward on a top power play unit playing with some of the best players that fantasy hockey has to offer. And right now, you're seeing him off the first power play unit, down to the third line at times, and the opportunities just are not there for him to really get you what you were looking for when you draft them. I'm really hoping you didn't pick him too early. In our league, he went fairly late. I, man, I really hope I'm wrong about this one, but this is where I stand for now.
So my final piece of this is going to kind of be much in the same vein as Nick Schmaltz, where sell. Sell on Morgan Geeky if you've got Morgan Geeky. I'm going to point something out, okay? If you look at snapshot in time, top 10 goal scorers last year, the range of shooting percentage from these players goes from 13.5%, which was fifth place David Pastrnak. He had 43 goals. The highest shooting percentage of anybody in the top 10 was 22.2%. That was what Braden Point was shooting on his 42 goals. Those are both high numbers. Uh, or sorry, not Pasternak's isn't a high number. 13.5 is around average for what an average player will shoot. So Pasternak could have easily scored more goals last year if he had a little bit closer to a superstar's level of a shooting percentage. Like Leon Draisaitl shoots at 21.7%. That's an incredibly good rate. Connor Geeky last year, or Morgan Geeky, sorry, make that, shot at a 22% rate last year. That is already very high. He did that to score his 33 goals. He's got 6 goals in 10 games already. He's shooting above 30%. That is unheard of. It will not sustain. Um, is he going to will he be a 30 goal scorer this season? Yeah, maybe. But if you look at his previous 2 seasons in Boston to this one, 23-24, he was playing 15-25 a night, scored 17 goals. 24-25, he only increased his time on ice by 90 seconds a game, but he increased his goal scoring total almost by double to 33. He had a huge uptick in shooting percentage last year. He's not going to have another jump. Like he went from 13 to 22. He's not going to go from 22 to 35 now. It's not going to sustain this way. So all that to say, if you've got Morgan Geeky, try and get something back for him. Not a lot of people in fantasy hockey leagues are going to look at shooting percentage as part of their analysis of their players. Shohei Ohtani just tied Game 3 of the World Series with a home run. Of course he did. If you're watching this World Series along with the rest of Canada,
Aiden, are you a baseball guy in any way, shape, or form?
I was super into it. I had a buddy, or my buddy Vinny. Don't ask me why the like being a Blackhawks fan for Vinny like also translated into liking other Chicago sports teams because he always said he was a Blackhawks fan because of Taves, um, which totally get it. But then he also was randomly like a huge Chicago Cubs fan for a while there. So when the Cubs won their first World Series in whatever, I think it was 108 years in 2016, I was super into baseball around then. Um, and then post COVID, I've been trying a little bit more, but it's something that I was very, very into in the past. Yeah. How about you? Have you ever?
Oh, you cut out just before. How about you?
Oh, you ever been into baseball?
You know, not a ton, but I was really, really enthralled with there was a World Series not too long ago where Bryce Harper and the Philadelphia Phillies went all the way, and I believe they lost right near the end there. It
Yeah,
was that his story is really, really interesting for me because he was that Connor McDavid, LeBron James with baseball, but he really didn't show exactly that at the pro level. It's one of those storylines where he had an incredible playoff and it felt like a bit of a redemption arc. And the Phillies have this song that goes like, I'm in the corner watching you kiss her. Oh. And that was their winning song, and I just loved all the videos of all those Philadelphia sports fans who are just fantastic, by the way. Like those people are passionate, crazy, and ridiculous. I love it. I absolutely love it. And they're all screaming it, losing their voices, spilling beers all over each other, spitting dip spit everywhere. I thought it was awesome. I thought that was like the most classic sports fan run experience that I've seen in a long time. And
I like it
that's the
when
kind of thing that catches me. I dig that.
I like it when random songs just pop into sports runs. Like Gloria with St. Louis.
Yeah.
I'll always think of Marchand crying when I hear that song, specifically him after game 7. Like after St. Louis beat them in the Stanley Cup final. Um, Jordan Binnington comes to mind with the song Gloria too. Ryan O'Reilly in those playoffs. Um,
Aiden, since you mentioned that, we haven't talked about the season 2 of Face Off inside the NHL since we touched on what the first couple episodes are about.
I still
Finished?
haven't I haven't dug into it because Caitlin wants to watch it. So I'm waiting for
Oh, you
Caitlin.
turd.
I know.
Come on. It's been
I
out for like
know.
a month.
You know what? I'm going home to see friends and family, which means that we're gonna get behind on some shows anyways. So maybe I just run out front on this one
Do you
and
know
then
what?
just
I
like
mean,
change the subject every time she brings it up.
just so I can talk about it, do you know what Matthew Tkachuk and the boys listened to after beating the Oilers in the Cup Finals yet again in the dressing room?
Oh, I remember it from last year. I remember the story from last year because I watched season 1, right? And that was
Yeah.
part of the Kachuk story. I don't remember exactly what it was,
No,
but
no,
I
this is a season 2 thing.
so we didn't know about it last year.
No.
Okay, I haven't seen this yet then.
Okay. Yeah, it was something to spite the Oilers, and it was it was a pretty interesting moment. It very much embodied who the Florida Panthers are, and the scummy trickery, and like I'm going to kick the crap out of you and then sit next to you and relish in this moment. The way they are, and dude, I loved it. I loved it. I mean, I think for the next season of Face Off inside the NHL, we could talk about this more after you end up watching it. I want 10 episodes. I want more players. From what we heard after they did the first season, they follow more players around and they just end up cutting some of them because they don't end up great stories. Give me those ones that aren't as great. We're gonna watch them anyway.
I'd also like to see it get more local. I don't remember exactly what it was. It might have been Landeskog in season 1. I remember something that really, and again, it's part of who I am and what I do for work.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
Yeah, I think we talked about it on the podcast. I loved seeing the people who knew Gabe in Colorado be the ones presenting the story. Obviously, the story is being told through the players. Like they are the ones telling their story. But I felt there was something added to it when it was somebody who had worked for the team that Gabe Landeskog had been captain of since he was 19 years old, who was presenting Gabe Landeskog's story in his 30s. That was something that I felt every story didn't have where yeah, you got personal with the players, but it was kind of that extra level. So that's what I'd love to see is go in and I want to hear about the players and I want to know what their impact to the team is from somebody who's been there and for that person to be presenting the story. You know what I mean?
I can somewhat I understand what you're saying. I don't feel like I need it though.
Hmm.
I feel like chasing all those people around, it's just money they don't feel like they want to spend or care to
Yeah.
spend.
Oh, and I
And,
get it.
and in this season, they had Pete Blackburn do most episodes as like that extra voice, and you may know him from some of the NHL Coast to Coast that they do here and there. You may know him from I believe he did a little bit of Monday Night Hockey on Prime, internet personality kind of guy, does CBS Sports. He's got a podcast as well. I find him fairly entertaining, and I found he was a nice extra voice. Um, of It's nice when you get an extra voice that you're not super familiar with, and I
Yeah.
enjoyed what he brought to the table.
Yeah. No, I got you. Sweet.
Aiden, before we go, I would like to talk movies and shows. Before I go to mine, what have you been watching? What's new?
Uh, Much to your pleasure, James is a big fan of a Jason Bateman limited series on Netflix called Black Rabbit.
Oh yeah,
I'm 6/8 of the way through. Um,
you could have said 3/4.
the That's true, absolutely. But it is 8 episodes, and I just watched the sixth. That is why that came to mind that way. But I think the sixth one was the best one so far. And I hope that trend continues into the final two. but the sixth episode just delivered on what was teased in like the the cold open of episode one, the pilot that hadn't
Hmm.
yet reconciled. So so far so good. Jason Bateman, I put Jason Bateman in that category with guys like Jordan Peele, where they were in comedy because of how smart they were, and now their creativity and their intelligence and storytelling is just being directed in a different way. And I'm all here for it.
Any Halloween movies as we make our way through the rest of October?
Depends what you're looking for. Uh, we talked about this last time where like horror movies are so subjective. Edge of your seat movies, man. David Fincher as a director. Go let David Fincher put you on the edge of your seat. I think
Evan.
that's what I got. Seven's phenomenal. Zodiac's phenomenal. Um, I mean, Fight Club's not really a Halloween movie, but he did a obviously just masterpiece in that one as well.
Okay, I'm gonna go two opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm giving you a show first that's very lighthearted, and then a movie that's quite the opposite. Lighthearted show. Hop on Disney Plus. Presented. I believe this one's presented by Hulu. Chad Powers starring Glenn Powell. It is a very odd, uh, Tim Robinson uncomfortable-esque comedy about a washed up, flamed out, larger than life personality, party animal football quarterback who made a critical mistake at the end of his NCAA career, and it pretty much took his life in a different direction, and as did his personality. And he pretends to be a complete unknown and walks on to a team as a quarterback, and the story just gets odd and silly and weird from there. I just watched the fifth episode. It speaks to the silliness and stupidity of the show that the episodes are called first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. But I just watched episode five and it's called fifth quarter.
Is there like, do you know what the following episodes are called? Like, are we gonna get like sixth, seventh, eighth quarter?
I'm imagining that's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really good. I mean, a couple episodes in, I was like, is this too stupid? But no. I mean, this is the kind of enjoyable, silly comfort watch that you get in the fall, and I'm all here for it. Glenn Powell has a solid list of movies coming out. Watch for The Running Man, an adaptation of a Stephen King novel. This one done by director Edgar Wright, who I love, from Scott
Yes.
Pilgrim, End of the World, Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, movies like that. They're just fantastic director, and apparently Glenn Powell blows everyone away in it, and this is going to be a career-defining kind of movie for him. So I'm really excited to see what that one has to offer. But my movie this week, dude, I've been waiting to watch this movie for a very long time. I heard about it probably 3 years ago before it was done, and then it was one of those ones that plays as a film at a film festival, but doesn't get a full release. This movie was complete and had been seen, but it didn't have what is it? The movie release rights had yet to be sold to anyone, and I guess Amazon ended up buying it after some time. But people saw it at festivals in early 2024, I believe. I'm talking about Ron Howard's Eden, starring Jude Law, Sydney Sweeney, Daniel Bruhl, Ana de Armas, and Vanessa Kirby. This movie is about an incident in history called the Galapagos Affair, in which just after World War One, a philosopher-esque doctor made for a remote island called Floriana in the Galapagos Islands, and basically to escape the recession that was going on around the world and start his own life and show through a manuscript that he was writing what is wrong with the world and what the world can become. His initial idea was to change the world, and he left letters in bottles or something like that, or on the beach for passing by ships to grab. And it began to fascinate people. So in comes a couple groups of people, one of them a family from Germany, and Germany's economy was just in the gutter at that point. And that family is played by Sydney Sweeney, Daniel Bruhl, and the one son they have. and it is just incredible watching these people survive in this barren, animalistic, somewhat deserted island. I mean, they're going from having as good of a setup as you could probably have in 1927. Like they have power, they have they have an economy, they have a structured system, and you watch this family come from Germany and get no help from the manuscript writing doctor and his wife, and they have to build a home and find a way to get fresh water and food and navigate the things that life brings on, but without any support system whatsoever. And you see the animalistic nature that comes from different social groups around each other when hit with plight and when the ease of life and comfort are taken away. And man, it gets dark, it gets thrilling, and it gets really interesting. I absolutely love this movie. I was really excited for it with Ron Howard directing. I was really, really curious. And the Galapagos Affair was something I read about years and years ago. Sydney Sweeney's character that she plays, Margaret Whitmer, um, that actual woman lived till 94 years old on that island. She died in the year 2000, and her children's children still live there today and kind of run a hotel in the tourism sector of that island. And Margaret wrote a book about what happened, and that was in response to another book that was written by one of the survivors of the Galapagos Affair. And this movie is an adaptation of both of those accounts, and there are some dramatized parts, but incredible. 100% recommend the watch. You can find it on Prime in Canada. Definitely allocate a good 2 hours, 2.5 hours with bathroom breaks to watch this one. Get some snacks, cozy up, put it on a stormy night. It's kind of got that eerie sort of feel to it. Highly recommend, and Aiden, you will absolutely love it. I'm giving this one an 8.6 out of 10, which is a very, very high rating on my scale.
So I'll ask this. I've often recommended movies to people where, like, I'm very aware of what the historical context of this historical fiction movie is. And
Hmm.
then part of their reaction to the movie makes it clear that I probably should have directed them to, hey, this is the story. This is background details you should probably learn about this story. Once
Yeah.
Upon a Time in Hollywood was one of those movies. So, do people need a base of knowledge about post World War One Germany and what these people were fleeing? Would you say any of that needs to be attained prior, or if you go into this movie without that, are you okay?
That would help, but they touch on it enough and they make it clear that these people, this is a young family with a sick child, and they're willing to leave a country for a somewhat deserted island with no one but a couple living on it, with no access to power, no access to anything, and they're willing to flee whatever was going on in Germany for that. I feel like it kind of touches on it enough, and there are a couple sentences of dialogue to say like this is terrible. Like how is the situation there? It is very, very, very bad. And yeah, the opening sequence of the movie mentions it a bit as well. When you have a period piece, I feel it's really, really important to have some on-screen text, a little bit of a preface to go out of the bit. And yeah, they do a damn good job of it. I'm hoping you watch it within the next week or so, so I can chat with you about it.
Okay.
I've got nothing else for you guys this week. I can't wait for the next one. Without further ado, let's roll that outro. Thanks, guys.